How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all doing good. Welcome to this video in which I'm going to share with you 5 things that I do to improve my art. And so hopefully you can take something away from this and in turn improve your own art. So with that being said, let's get on with it. Okay, so let me start with the most obvious one here. I aim to do some drawing every day. Now of course, some days I just can't find the time to sit down at the desk and do some drawing because, well, life gets in the way. I have other responsibilities that need my attention, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate, but for the most part, I do some drawing every day. To give some context, I do work a full-time job as well, and so like most of you watching, I only have the time outside of my 9 to 5 day job to work on my art and this YouTube channel. And I've discussed this in past videos, how I tend to do most of my drawing in the morning before I go to work. This means I do have to get up early, but that's not too bad because I go to bed early anyways. I am a morning person, so I wake up, make a coffee, and sit down at my desk and do some work for a few hours. One thing I really like about this is the fact that my mind is fresh and I can focus. I feel like throughout the day we get tired and start to lose focus. I always find it hard to motivate myself to do work later in the evening when I get home from working my job. So that's the routine, I guess, which I've designed for myself, all in an effort to find time in the day where I can focus and work on my art. Now, if you can find time to draw each day, the consistency will be of great benefit. It's almost become a habit for me now, to the point where it feels strange if a day goes by and I haven't done any drawing. But as I said, consistency is key here. If you do something every day, you will naturally get better at it. There is of course a conversation to be had in terms of what you are doing to improve, in terms of what it is you want to achieve, but I'll save that for another video. So this is something that I think is often overlooked, but it's something that I try and pay attention to, and that is the content that I consume. And this can be anything ranging from the books you read, the films you watch, the music you listen to, or in this case, the artists that you follow and the artwork that you see when you are online. I follow lots of artists online whose work really inspires me to create things myself. When I'm lost for ideas or feeling demotivated, I usually go on Instagram or look at other works of art online, and I find that it can help me put me in a mood to draw as well. The artists that I follow mostly produce art that I obviously enjoy seeing the most. It's art that generally has some similarities to what I create myself, and so whenever I'm not drawing, I'm still observing other drawings. If I'm watching a film, or like recently I started to watch Attack on Titan, that even can inspire me to create. Not because it's an anime, but because it's something that was created by others, right? And when you see other people's creations, it compels you to create something yourself. Now, on the flip side of this, I often hear people say that seeing other artists' work can demotivate them because they lack confidence and feel as if they'll never be able to do that themselves, but that's the wrong way to look at it. Instead, you should look at it as a way of seeing what's possible, right? Like, there's no reason you can't produce art of the same quality, it's just going to take some time to get there. I must admit though, when I was learning how to draw, I found myself caught in that trap of comparing my work to others. I think with time though, as you start to develop your work, you gain more confidence, and these ups and downs that we go through, that's just part of the process. So overall, I think this is something that has improved my art. You know, looking at other artists and seeing what they create, it can help spark up ideas for your own work. I've said this in the past, but I do think that your art is not just a result of your ability and skill level, but also a result of your personal interests and feelings. Okay, this next one is pretty simple, but some of you probably need to hear it, and that is to go outside more. This is something I try and do more of these days. I often go for long walks and try and spend some time away from the desk. I know this might sound counterproductive, but taking breaks is important, otherwise it's easy to burn yourself out. Now, I advise going outside more, but the important thing is just to get away from your desk every now and then, or at least the environment in which you work in. I don't want this to contradict the first thing I said, which was to draw every day, because I still think you should try and do some drawing every day, just not all day, all the time, right? Recently I went on holiday for a week away, and a few days in, I started to get the urge to do some drawing. Like, I actually went and bought some paper and pencils when I was there. I didn't really have the time to do any, but those few days not doing any drawing really made me want to get back and do some. Whenever I go for a walk outside, I have the time to think to myself, and we don't always get a lot of time to do that. I go through phases with my work as well. Like, I could be on a good streak creating all of these drawings, ideas keep coming to me, I'm having a great time, and then one day I'll wake up and I won't be able to think, I'm not happy with what I'm doing, I get frustrated, and that's when I know that I need to step back and take a break and do something else for a while. I suppose most of us are usually doing other things throughout the day anyways, like working a day job or running some errands, and whilst that might be annoying due to you having to squeeze in time to draw, it's also a bit of a silver lining because it makes that time you do have to draw more enjoyable and you appreciate it more. Another thing that I do that I think really helps me to improve the artwork that I create is to review each drawing that I make. You know, spend some time looking at it, observing it. I even look back at the older artwork that I've made and reflect on what I created then in comparison to what I create now. I don't know about you guys, but when I finish a drawing, I have a tendency to be really critical of it and focus on the bad, which doesn't do much good to your overall attitude. I mean, they say that you are your own worst critic, right? Which is completely true from my experience. I do try to remain positive and open-minded though. If I look at a drawing I've made and there's some things that I'm not happy with, I make sure to remember those things for the future. I look at drawings that I've made and think, how could I improve that, right? What could I do to make this better? And usually there's a few things that I make sure to remember when I start to create a new drawing. If I'm being honest, right, I'm not happy with most of the drawings I make. I'm never amazed by my own work, which, I don't know, I'm sure some of you can relate. I think it's just part of being human, right? And again, we are our own worst critic. One thing that does help, and this is something that I've been trying to be better at as I'm creating more drawings in this sketchbook, is to create a drawing, right? And then review it, you know, pinpoint some of the areas that you could improve upon, and then simply forget about it, right? Forget about it. Don't just sit there staring at it, scrutinizing it, because you'll start to hate it even more. Just move on. As I said, I'm trying to do this with the drawings I make in this sketchbook, but it's harder to do so when the drawings are always with you, right? Like, I do have a habit of looking through this sketchbook at the drawings I make, and sometimes I'm like, ugh, I hate that one, but then I just think, who cares, on to the next one. Alright, so this one might not be that useful to you, but the video is titled 5 things that I do to improve my art, and one thing that certainly helped me is making tutorials. Going through that process, creating these videos, you need to understand the subject clearly to then break it down and teach someone else, and that's something a lot of people don't get to experience. But personally, I think it's one of the best ways to learn yourself, is to try and teach someone else. When I started this YouTube channel, I didn't have any understanding of how to draw in perspective, but as I developed, I started to come across these areas involved in the subject we call drawing, and I realised, hey, I have so much to learn. I also had this platform that had a small audience, thanks to the realistic drawings I was making, and that was something I had taught myself pre-YouTube. Anyways, to cut a long story short, I made the decision to learn about perspective drawing, and whilst I was learning, I was also producing videos sharing what I learned. And to give a quick overview, when I make a tutorial, let's say, I have to understand what it is that I'm teaching, I have to write out a script and plan the examples, I also have to record and edit the video. There's a lot of steps involved, which in my experience helps me learn myself. It's also a good way to motivate yourself, right? If you are learning something with the intent to then create something based on what it is you are learning, then it provides purpose, right? You also have something to show for it, and it even helps others learn as well. I think that's one of the most motivating factors as well, the fact that learning all of these new things to then teach other people isn't just helping yourself improve, but it's also helping others improve. I can look back now at all of the videos that I've made, and in a way, I am proud of myself for making all of that, and we're still going, right? So that's one thing that I had to mention at the end here. So there we go, that's 5 things that I do to improve my art. I hope you found this video useful and can take something away from it to, in turn, improve your own art. If you did enjoy it, then be sure to leave a like, and with that being said, keep on drawing, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the content I create, then do consider becoming a patron on Patreon. You will gain access to exclusive tutorials, study documents, process papers, real-time drawing footage and more. Plus, you will also be supporting me in a more personal way. Other than that, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you soon.